So let's get back in. So Jason, what we're gonna do here on this podcast is a little bit. There's different levels of rising entrepreneurs, right? We all have different levels that we're at, and so looking at where you are in this journey, what we'd like to do with this episode is what we call a snapshot, right? And we want to capture where you are in your journey right now, what you're trying to do, because the value to the community, to the people that are listening, is you're at the beginning of your journey. And we want to know a little bit about why you're on this journey. We want to know a little bit about the name change, the product, and like what your motivation behind the thing is, and capture what your goals are now. And then we can meet back up with you 6 months, a year, and see how close you are to that. See what you achieved. See what you're doing with it. And that way, it provides value for you, because as you make a public declaration of where you want to be, you'll subconsciously want to step into that more and more and be that, so it helps you. It helps our listeners understand that no matter what level you're at, like, understand your why, understand why you're doing it, and get into, what you want to do. It gives them a plan from where you are, and it also creates really interesting stuff as you blow up, right? In 6 months, a year, and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot I was even there. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of what we want to do with this episode, and kind of dig into your why, into what you're, about and who you are. Does that sound okay?
Sounds wonderful. Yeah. And I know this is your second season, so congrats, Corey and Nathan, on, getting, this far. I know
I'm not season one. Corey brought me in.
New edition. Okay.
This is him. Yeah, Corey is the genius who put this all together and who designs all this and keeps us on track. I just like to talk.
Me too. And
I appreciate that.
That's awesome, because I've been a fan of your podcast since the get-go, and it's been getting better and better as time goes by. So
thank you, man.
That's wonderful. So, all right. You guys have heard of Simon Sinek, have you?
I have, yes.
Okay, the author of the book, Start With Why. I'm reading that book, and I'm also, as I mentioned, in Accelerators organization, I'm taking a 6 to 8 week personal branding workshop where we exactly tackle that issue, start with why. So my personal why, my motto is basically, because every day self-care starts at home.
That's cool. We're gonna take everything that you think you're learning in this 6-week program and we're gonna put that to the side real quick, because I respect, but I wanna
Nathan's got his proprietary process, so he's gonna
I just want to because I don't know what you're talking about. I know the book, and I know, but I want to go a little deep, So I just want you to be open to it and just kind of hang out with us, and we're just going to talk, because so we got in the application, we got a switch from Antonino to Conifer, right? Formerly known as. So, and that's intriguing to me. So let's just kind of start with what that's about. Kind of tell us what that's about.
Okay, great. Well, yeah, my last name. Frankly, I just got sick and tired of having to spell it to everybody for the past 40 plus years. It's just like, Good gosh, I'm tired of saying, no, it's not Antonio, Antonino. So it just got, frustrating. I thought, I'm building a personal brand. I can name myself anything I want. So I chose the last name Conifer because I love trees, and also the URL was available to register. So I thought, okay, cool. That's a short and easy name to spell. If you can't spell Conifer, we can't be friends, honestly. So
very phonetic.
I registered JasonConifer.com. I've changed my Facebook name to the same thing. Also, my Instagram is Jason Conifer. I'm on Twitter by the same name, and I'm even on TikTok with the same name. I'm also thinking I'm too old for TikTok because it's frankly a weird platform. But from what I hear, it's an up and coming thing. So I should just suck it up and learn how to,
it's coming. It's definitely so. Is that a legal change or a pen name?
It's a pen name. It's not illegal. I may legally change my name in the future, but we've got other fish to fry right now. So my legal name is what it is. If anybody wants to research me on Google, they'll find lots of information on my legal name, of course. But Jason Conifer, for the purposes of my personal brand, that's who I go by.
Sure.
Perfect. I went by a pen name for a long time. So in the affiliate marketing world, when I first got into it,
And his was super
and
fancy. His was super fancy. You got to tell him what it was, dude.
it was ER Winfield. So my kids' middle names. So and then you're Antonino. I was telling Corey, and I'll make this real quick. My youngest son is Anthony, but he just always wanted to do whatever was like the thing he's not supposed to do. So we just said, Anthony, no. Anthony, no. Anthony, and I was like, I swear, I think we say Anthony knows so much that he thinks his name is Antonino. And then I was like, hey, Nino. And he responded. And so his nickname became Nino because we said, so when I saw Antonino, I was like, this is awesome. So, but I understand the pen name change and awesome. So let's take a couple steps back. You're trying to build this brand of aromatherapy, right?
Yeah.
And so kind of take us back. What brought you into the world of aromatherapy?
Perfect question. All right, let's go back to 2013. I had bought a house up in the Deer Valley area of Phoenix, and sometime around August 2013, I was on Facebook, and I started seeing information in my newsfeed from Healthy and Natural Living, Healthy Natural World, pages like that, where you could literally make your own products at home. Anything from skin repair balm to deodorants, toothpaste, natural fragrance, skin healing, preparations, all sorts of products you can make with natural products at home. And I was intrigued by that. And eventually that led me to essential oils.
Why were you intrigued like that? What was going on in your life that when you came, because everyone, you come across stuff every day. What was going on in your life that when you came across that, you were like, and you dug in? What was attractive about that?
That's interesting because it's hard for me to pin it down on any one specific thing. I do remember as a kid wanting to make sunscreen or sunblock.
Okay.
And failing at that. Or it could be just the scent that intrigues me. Like certain soaps, the scent will stay with you. Like, for example, every time I smell Old Spice, it instantly reminds me of my father. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is your scent is directly tied to the limbic system of your brain. That's the emotional seat of your awareness. That's why when you take a scent of, say, grapefruit, it could perk you up. And your sense of smell actually operates quicker than your vision and your hearing and the other senses. It's like
it's the only sense that doesn't go through your reticulating activator system. It's the only sense that's hardwired directly to your brain without go. So exactly. I'm totally with you. But let's get back into because that's kind of later on. Like, were you always into scents? Because I know you learned this stuff later, but we're trying to get back a little bit to the origin of where so you're looking through these products, because I've been there. I mean, I'm in natural products. I was looking at lotions because I was in psoriasis in the affiliate marketing world. And I saw some of these things back then. I was like, oh my gosh, you can white label stuff. It's all natural. It's really cool. And I was interested because I always thought it was cool to build, I was trying to build something of my own out of, scratch from all, and I thought that was cool. So, but you're looking at this, but this is about you. You're looking at this thing. And you're like, this is really cool. I can do all these things. And then you get into the scents part of it, into the essential oils. And you can attribute part of it to, like, when you smell Old Spice, you think of your father. So you know how strongly scents are connected. Is that really what you think triggered you into going into essential oils? Is that memory connection?
Not really. Although I think that's a very interesting side note I wanted to bring up. It's going back 7 years. My memory is kind of fuzzy, but one thing leads to another. Healthy and Natural Living on Facebook led me to essential oils. What's that? And I just did a little research, and this is a bottle of grapefruit. A genius figured out a way to cram large quantities of fruit or whatever into a bottle. It's highly concentrated stuff. And so I bought my first couple of bottles on Amazon through a company called Plant Therapy, who I still do business with to this day. I believe my first bottles were tea tree oil and peppermint. And I bought those two because I hear they're very good insect repellents. And there I am trying to put it on a lamp fixture. And I'm thinking, okay, this is probably not what they intended. So I'm delving deeper into the research. It's like, no, you could put it in a spray. Like, you could take a glass bottle, fill it with vodka or witch hazel, and then add the tea tree or the peppermint, and you could use that to repel bugs. I just kind of started doing it as a hobby. And in 2014, I wanted to come up with a skincare business, but that, didn't really go anywhere. I think the name wasn't good. And then in 2016, I formed another company called Bold Aromatherapy, where I started to make some headway. I started selling beard oil. I handcrafted my own beard oil at home, and it was doing really well. Sold a few bottles. I had quite a few followers on Instagram and Twitter. I was just getting going. And unfortunately, I was going through bankruptcy at the time and had some family issues that necessitated putting the kibosh on the business. I wound up closing it up and going through the bankruptcy process. And then I also have an invention that's got 2 patents issued to it. It's called Aromatherapy Apparatus and Housing. And it's an invention where you combine aromatherapy with sound and light meditation. And so I got 2 patents issued for that. And I was in the process of trying to market that product, but I'm realizing I'm kind of doing it in a backwards fashion. I built this thing for myself just to prove to see if I could get 2 patents or a patent of my own. And I got 2, much to my surprise. So I have this product I want to develop and do a Kickstarter campaign, but through the business coaching that I'm getting, I'm realizing, okay, in order for me to do a successful Kickstarter campaign, I need to have a large audience, and I don't have that quite yet. So that's why I'm switching over to a personal brand and a service-based model. Basically, just my goal is to promote aromatherapy to a male audience. Although I'm realizing that at least 2/3 of the customers of aromatherapy are women. So to me, it makes more sense to be attractive towards like housewives or women who are in relationships. They might be cohabitating or married to a guy. She would see what I'm doing online, and she would say, to her husband, "You should watch this guy. You should go to this guy's website."
All right. So all right. So real quick, give me the why that you have written up from your course that you're in right now. Let's go there real quick. Give me your why.
Because everyday self-care starts at home.
Okay. Because everyday self-care starts at home. Why is that important to you?
Well, simply because people need to take better care of themselves in general. Doctors' offices, hospitals are all overwhelmed right now. Aromatherapy, it's not a panacea, it's not a cure-all, but it is very good for minor everyday problems like bug bites, cuts, scrapes, things of that nature. In fact, almost six.
So let me ask you. I'm not like. I want to catch a snapshot of you, like, and all the awesomeness about oils. We'll get into, and I know it, and I believe it, and I'm not. So we'll definitely. But I want to stick with you, and you know what I mean. And so, because I think that there's something profound to discover that's going to help you connect. Because you're good at processes. You got 2 patents. You're good things, putting them together. It sounds like it's the messaging and the marketing and building the pressure around the thing that might be where you're struggling. And so I want to go a little bit deep so we can help the community and people that are listening to you connect to you, because that's what marketing is, right? And so I get all the oil stuff and all the research is out there, but you're not alone in pushing oils. So the oils don't matter. I mean, in all honesty, it's something you're selling. There's everyone that's going to say my oils are better, my oils are more pure, my oils are more organic. So it's you that you're bringing to the game that's different. The oil will never be the unique value. You will be the unique value and what you put around it. And so why is helping people stay healthy, reduce stress, and use these oils, why is that important to you as an individual?
Simply because, like the old saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. I mean, people could take better care of themselves at home and prevent small problems from becoming larger problems.
Okay, so being preventative care prevents small problems from becoming bigger health problems, right? Why is it important for you? Because that's true. That's a guaranteed fact. But I don't care. Like personally, I'm not going out there and trying to help people with that. I'm helping people with their messaging with something else. So let me jump in
and ask that a little bit different in a different way.
Yeah.
So Jason, has this process of natural healing, has it actually helped you in your life in some way? Like, have you actually used it to combat a problem that you're dealing with personally, or overcome a health issue maybe that you have been, trying to figure out, and then you found a product that was a solution to that?
Yeah, the short answer is yes. I've had anxiety issues for as long as I can remember. Essential oils are great for managing anxiety and stress levels, for sure. Um, Also, a quick story. Almost 6 years ago, I fell through the ceiling in my garage. I was up in the attic. A plumber was up there rerouting some plumbing lines, and I happened to be looking around. I looked at there's all this junk that was left behind up in there. And one of the things that was left behind was a wooden toilet seat. And so I go to grab the toilet seat and throw it down, the hatch or the chute, the way you get it, the access, the way you get in the attic. And
Yeah.
I take a step where no homeowner should go. That's between the rail, the girders, whatever you want to call them. And I hear this creaking noise, and a half second later, I'm on the floor of my garage looking up at the gigantic hole I made in the ceiling. And so I've got cuts and scrapes all over myself. I'm covered in chalk dust, obviously in quite a bit of pain, and a bruised ego. And I go, obviously, to, wash off my wounds, but then I instinctively go to grab a bottle of coconut oil and lavender essential oil, and I put the two together, and I put them on myself. And I tell you, in 15 minutes, I went from being very agitated and embarrassed to kind of almost nonchalant about it. Like, yeah, fell through the ceiling, not a big deal. So I called the plumber to explain the situation. She thought the plumber fell through the ceiling. I'm like, oh, no, he's fine. I'm the guy who fell through the ceiling. I was wondering if you do drywall repair. She's like,
Right.
no, sir, we don't do that. No, you'd have to call out for that. I'm like, okay, just thought I would ask. It never hurts to ask. And so I healed a bunch of cuts and scrapes with this stuff. And sure, there's Neosporin, but Neosporin, doesn't have, that added ability to help you relax and calm down.
So I love
That's
that.
one
I
example.
love that.
That's a great story.
You clearly have an entrepreneurial drive, but you seem to have a passion for bringing these things to people and helping people with these things. It's not just like the experience. So what motivates you to spend so much time, effort, energy building a business? You build this beard oil business. You know how hard it is to build something up from scratch, and you've patented this thing, which is a long, arduous process. You've put in a lot of work and effort to help people be healthier. So what motivates you to put your time and effort into that?
Couple of reasons. I'm tired of corporate America. I've always wanted to do my own thing, be my own boss, build my own brand, earn a decent profit at it, build a nice living, influence people, retire with dignity. Those are just some of the reasons.
Okay.
I'd like to have the freedom to live and work anywhere in the world I want. Just a laptop and a phone and whatever Airbnb I happen to be at.
That's awesome.
I like that. And so what you obviously spent some time in the corporate world that gives you that passionate perspective on it. So
Passionate hatred for it, we should say.
Yeah. So when you so what about, so that's what you want. You want to be able to retire out of there. You want to be and so you feel like building a business is going to be the best way to do that. I'm just kind of guessing and throwing out straws. Why are you taking this path to get free of that?
Well, for the simple reason I don't like being tied to any specific location, especially once my son is grown up and out of the house. I'll literally be able to move anywhere I want, any country that I want, for starters. And, one of my values is that help shouldn't be more than a phone call or a Zoom call away. I want to be able to, be accessible, have customers be able to get their questions answered. There's a lot of people who are using essential oils right now, and they're making some mistakes. And so part of my motivation is take people who are already essential oil users and let them know, hey, it's really not a good idea to add 10 drops of lemon essential oil to your water and drink it every day for these reasons. So there's a lot of unsafe practices going on. There's actually a lot of fraud going on too. Department stores like Walmart and what have you are selling oils, and they happen to be not even real. So there's, I've got a couple of,
areas where you want to protect people.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Combating
the
misinformation out there, for sure.
Yeah, I like
Misinformation
that.
is rampant. Yeah, misinformation, unsafe use,
So
people being injured. There's actually literally a website called the Essential Oils Injury Database.
Oh, wow.
So Jason, I love it. I love what and protecting people, because we got a thing about authentic market values called protect and lead. right? You got to protect your market and lead them to safety, right? And so
Yeah.
I love where your mindset is for the value for your customers there. So let's kind of hang out there for a little while. And what's like, what drives you to want to protect people like that? Because I think that's really cool. So like, what inside of you wants to like protect people like that?
I guess it would be attributed to having a strong sense of justice. Justice and doing the right thing means a lot to me. I actually went through paralegal school and I worked at a law firm for 5 years and realized, okay, I don't want to work in a law firm, but I have a passion for, the good guy always winning in the end. The good
Okay.
guy eventually wins out.
Yeah, I like that.
Eventually
Okay, we're
wins out,
going
right?
somewhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going somewhere. So where do you think, so you want to help the little guy out and you want to make sure that the underdog doesn't get lost and that we, and I love that. What about you? What in your history, or what triggers that? That's a really special thing that not a lot of people have to be out there protecting people. And so what triggers that in you? That sense of justice and trying to actually help people.
Yeah. So where does that all come from? Could be because of childhood bullying, perhaps. Or it could be for reasons I don't yet understand. I mean, we're all work in progress. We're all learning things about ourselves. Learning, Myers-Briggs INTJ, that says a lot. My Enneagram is 4. I'm very individualistic. I don't neatly fit any category. I say to myself, I'm too conservative to be liberal and too liberal to be conservative. That's kind of a side tangent, but we're all works in progress. We're never completely finished with who we are. We're always hopefully learning something every day. And it's just, I guess you could say I have a passion for justice and the underdog and spreading the truth and empowering people on an individual level.
See now.
That's awesome.
That's a beautiful, beautiful why of selling your oils, because you understand that people are being fed misinformation and that there's enough people out there that don't care, that just want to take advantage of an opportunity. And that there's tons of people falling into that trap. And you're putting your time, effort, energy into saving those people. And so when your oils are about saving people from misinformation and protecting them from when your brand is about protecting them from the things that are going to harm them, even when they think like, okay, you read this is good, but let's look at it a little deeper. Like, let me help you understand. Because you said you're going to go to more of a service model around your oils, correct? So what is that service?
Basically education, educational service. I don't sell any physical products at the moment. With the beard oil, I enjoy doing that, but I also have to ask myself about scalability. It takes a large infrastructure to sell physical products, as you guys plainly know. So for the time being, at least until I could build a team, I think it's a great idea to deploy an online educational type of service. My Instagram, go to Jason Conifer on Instagram. You'll see I've got over 80 posts right now. Yeah. And quite a few of them are like, I took a picture, I was in Winco one day and I took a few pictures of a rack of essential oils on sale on display. They were all the exact same price. That's a huge red flag because that's not the way it is in real life. I mean, that's a dead giveaway that there's something going on. Right. It's probably synthetic. It's probably synthetic substitute. And no aromatherapist would ever tell you that, yes, sandalwood and lemon could be the same price because yield. It's very hard to get a drop of essential oil out of sandalwood versus lemon, for example. So it's like they all need to be priced differently and priced accordingly. I love that. There's a chemist, there's a PhD chemist who takes submissions from people who, I bought this oil in the store. Can you analyze it? And a lot of the times he's like, oh, this is fraudulent. It's been adulterated. It's not true lavender. It's been spiked with something else. And no consumer wants to be duped like that.
Yeah.
Right. That's so awesome.
So what's your biggest challenge right now? Let's see if we can help you. What's your biggest challenge?
Well, wait. I'm sorry. Before we jump into that, I just want to go back to this idea of you being like bringing justice to this market, right? And that's and really, and I want to bring some awareness to that because Nathan, you worked really hard. I just wanted to give you credit, bro. You worked really hard to pull that out, right? And that was, I think, a good connection into why you're doing what you're doing. Okay. And like, again, going back to why you went to legal school, right? Why you went to learn about how to bring justice to the world and then equip yourself. And then you realize probably throughout that course that you didn't want to be a lawyer, but you're using that knowledge and you're bringing it into this market, and you're going to help save people on a health level, right? And potentially life and death type of situation if they were to do something really dramatic or wrong that's being presented out there in the market. Your goal is to stop that misinformation and to help save them. And so I wanted to illuminate that one more time. And then also I want to tie it into what you said earlier, because I feel like we skipped over this, this idea that you have for your Kickstarter. Okay. You said you've got patents, and your whole goal now for building a personal brand is so that you can sell this product. Is that correct?
That's one of the goals, sure. Down the road after a couple of years, because it does take time to build a following. And so patents are good for up to 20 years as long as you pay the maintenance fees. So that's the patented product. I did build 5 prototypes and sent them out to people for beta testing. And I did sell one of those prototypes to a branding firm. She liked the product. She says it has potential to change lives, which was wonderful to hear. It was just a crude working prototype. There's going to be a lot more, product development that's going to have to happen. And that's a long-term goal of mine.
Mm-hmm.
For the interim, it's a great time to, realize, okay, well, we're all cooped up at home with this coronavirus situation. It's a great time to build a fan following, and, educate people about fraud in the essential oil market. Educate people about, hey, there's a right way and a wrong way to use these products. Please use them with respect, because it's very concentrated plant matter. It could burn you. There are people drinking it, and there's 3 things wrong with that. One, it could irritate the delicate lining of your esophagus. It could kill the probiotics in your gut. And also your liver is going to be working overtime to process this material. It's a foreign substance. And so your liver has to clean out your blood before it sends it onto your kidneys for elimination.
So we got
a lot of things going on that people need to know about.
So we've got, I love that. And thank you for sharing that value with people and that information. You got this thing that's a long-term vision that you have 2 patents on, you're building out that can change lives, but that's a long-term vision. You've got other things you need to do. So 1 year from now, what's success look like for Jason? What is success for you?
Okay. I'm currently enrolled in the Aromatherapy certification program at the Aromahead Institute. It's an online school. It's internationally recognized. It's a 235-hour program. By the time I get done, hopefully by September, I plan to be finished with school. I'll be an essential oil specialist, and I'll also be a certified clinical aromatherapist. So I'll have, a formal education that's recognized around the world. I'll be an expert. I'm up and coming right now. I already have a 100-hour certificate through the Southwest Institute of Healing Arts that's in Tempe, known as SWEHA. I went to school through there in 2015. And I went back, earlier this year to expand my knowledge and get professionally certified. So in 12 months from now, I'll be an expert at this. I'll be, I would like to, have webinars, write a book or 2, sell informational products, and get, start a movement around it. Like, learn to treat essential oils with the respect and safety that they're deserved. Promote sustainability, because,
So let's put some parameters, because if we check back in with you in a year, how do we know if you've achieved like these things, right? So what are some sales, like, because webinars, a book or 2, like, well, let's get some concrete. What would be if we check in with you and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did these 3 things. What are these 3 things? How much did you sell? What did you publish? Let
let the fans speak for themselves. Reviews are very important. Get some good feedback. Attract an audience to these webinars. I mean, already I'm getting some good feedback. One woman, says, "Keep it going. I'm loving your feed." Without customer feedback, what do you really have? It's what the market will bear. I want to get some good feedback from people. One woman says, "Now when I go essential oil shopping, I always look for the Latin botanical name, and that's because of me." So let's let the education speak for itself. Sales will follow. You have to be long-term minded. I think you guys already know this, but you got to look at the long term and take the high road.
Yeah, 100%. And I want to touch on the fact that when you start getting feedback from your audience, that is a magical thing. And you jumped on earlier and you were talking about how you've been a fan of the podcast, bro. And I want you to know that really does touch my heart, and I really appreciate you saying that. And it really does feel good when you know that the work you're doing is actually creating a result in someone else's life, right? And it's actually helping
Bingo.
them. Even if it's just a short clip on Instagram that gives them a little bit of an aha, you know, a little takeaway. Oh, now I know I can look for this type of, you know, brand when it comes to these oils, right? And in the future, now they're protecting themselves and starting to think about it. And so it will open up that avenue for even more to come in. And so I just, you know, I love that you said that, and that's where that is your drive, right? Is to make that change in people's lives, and to, you know, and then like you said, the audience and the results will speak for themselves. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right, Corey. It's about, you know, making a tangible impact on people's daily lives. For example, another example is I did a Facebook post. It says a lot of people think that aromatherapy essential oils are a fad, or they're woo-woo, it's witchcraft, pseudoscience. They'd be surprised to know that you have to, as a student, I'm studying plant taxonomy, organic chemistry, analytical testing, GCMS, and so it's very technical. Aromatherapy is a very technical and deep field, and that started quite a few conversations about diffusers and all sorts of things. So yeah, it's about benefiting people individually and kickstarting meaningful conversations around this topic.
It's funny how those that are averse to the idea are actually those that can become your biggest fans and your biggest customers and clients over time, because it takes one perspective shift, right? That's all it takes.
Right.
If you can help someone just go from blatantly, nah, that stuff's pseudoscience, that's, you know, that's woo-woo nonsense, right? If you can just give them one, and we call them portals, if you can give them one portal into that world where they see something that resonates with them, that opens up the opportunity for everything else to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it could take literally one Facebook or Instagram post, and that could generate a lot of activity around it. And it takes time, but minds can be changed, I believe.
100%.
Well, that's the focus of the marketing, because that's where you are right now. Like, you're in a marketing, build pressure, awareness, and notoriety around you. And so, you know, when you think about marketing, it can be super complex. Like, there's so many things you can do and all this. So, like, to simplify it, we look at it as the ABCs of marketing. There's attention, belief, conversion, and the S is for the stories that you tell and the story that the market tells about you. And so, but that belief thing, right? The attention, how do you get them to put eyes on you and know? And then the belief, what are the beliefs I need to transfer? What are the beliefs I need to install so that they can, like, what are the limiting beliefs that they have? And that's where you're going to, without a direct, like, I'm selling this product, this thing exactly, like, it's building pressure and knowing what beliefs you want to plant. So kind of, obviously this is woo woo. This is all those things is one of the beliefs that people deal with, but it's becoming more and more mainstream than ever. Right. So what are some of the other beliefs that people have in the market, or specifically men, if you're going after men, what are some beliefs that men have that keep them away?
I would have to say that I don't want to speak for anybody but myself, but I would bet that a lot of guys, when they hear the term essential oils, they think it sounds feminine or fruity or girly. I want to tell them, well, you'd be surprised to know that in 1910, a guy by the name of René Maurice Gattefossé, he's a French chemist, owned a perfume factory. There was an explosion. He got burned, and he literally used lavender essential oil to heal his burns on his arms and prevented gas gangrene from happening. He potentially saved his life with lavender oil. And then in 1937, he wrote a book titled Aromatherapy, and he was literally the inventor of aromatherapy as we know it today. This was almost 100 years ago.
Wow.
So a man invented aromatherapy, for one, and two, this is balsam fir that I'm holding right here. Guys tend towards liking smells of wood and pine, things of that nature. I use this quite often: pine, balsam fir, Siberian fir. I happen to like, woods, pines, and smells of fruit, spices like black pepper. So, So if a guy were to work with me individually, I would reassure him and say, dude, I'm not going to make you smell like a rose. No, unless you want to. You name it, I could, help you prepare your own signature fragrance. I got one of my own. I call it Spruce Springsteen. It's got like 6 different oils in it. Pine, black spruce being the major one, of course. And so, another goal of mine is, educate women on, hey, your guy could benefit from aromatherapy too, not just yourself. I mean, If I had a wife or a girlfriend, I would love it if she made me a natural cologne for my birthday, for example. You could put it in massage oil. Like a guy gets a sports injury, she could massage his pain away, with certain oils like peppermint, for example. So it's practical. It could be used for skin problems. It's used in the therapeutic massage, and it makes a very nice gift for somebody.
That's awesome, man.
It's
Well,
just the tip of the iceberg.
So I love it, man. Sounds like you're putting in hard work to get the education and get good stuff in front of people, and I admire that and I respect that. So what's biggest is there any challenges that you're facing with your marketing or your funnel that Corey and I might be able to help you with?
Well, yeah, learning marketing is obviously a challenge for me. I mean, I come from a very technical background. I have a bachelor's degree in engineering, a paralegal certificate, and now I'm pursuing a second certificate in aromatherapy. So I've got the technical skills, of course. Learning about marketing and things like that. I'm a member of AO, Accelerators Organization. They're my default business coaches. Learning quite a bit from Corey here and there from his teachings, which are very helpful. But yeah, I'm learning about marketing and how the real world operates. You can only be in a silo for so long. You eventually have to figure out, okay, if you want to be in business, it's not about you anymore. This aromatherapy was a hobby of mine for the past 6 years or so. So I'm learning to, develop my ideal audience. And I think the best way to go would be women ages 30 to 55 who are either married or cohabitating with a guy. They would be drawn to my brand first, and then they would turn their husbands on to their boyfriends. I think that would be a way to go. Another one of my business coaches says, here's another angle, gay men, because they might be more inclined to do this sort of thing too. I mean, people who are vegans, people who are into natural homeopathic things would probably, be the first ones to come along. Simon Sinek talks about there's a curve, like it's called a development curve or a marketing curve, where you've got your early adopters, and then you got your early following, and then you got the late adopters, and then the last at the end. You want to focus your marketing on the very front end, the early adopters, the innovators, the early followers. Focus your energy on that. And so I think those people would be people who are either using essential oils right now, or who are vegans, or interested in a plant-based type of lifestyle, I guess. Aiming my efforts at those types of people.
Yeah, so you're it sounds like you're doing the right thing. You're narrowing down the who, right? Yeah. And the who, you can't come up with the what to say to them until you know who you're talking to. So right. I think you're doing
why.
Yeah, so that's
with
good.
Why, and figure out, once I figured out my why, self-care for everybody in the comfort and privacy of your own home, starting the moment you wake up in the morning and when you go to bed at night. You can have your own self-care regimen in place, and people buy into that why. And then the how is basically, for the time being, online teachings. Everything is online now, as you guys know, and that's the how. Online teaching. And the what is like, well, let's let it be customer driven. One of my followers wants to know about allergies, and so I did a short video on how to make a simple aromatherapy inhaler. Look here, this is a leather change purse. You can put a cotton ball in there and put a couple of drops of oil. You've got an inhaler for allergy relief or whatever it might be. Practical, very simple, practical, hands-on teachings I could deploy online. That's my current goal.
That's
awesome. Yeah.
I have one idea that just it's sticking out to me right now, and I just kind of want to throw this out there.
Let's lean in.
No, please.
I'm excited, bro. I like when you get ideas.
Jason, it sounds like you've talked about how men are averse to the idea of aromatherapy and essential oils, probably because, again, it sounds feminine. It's more of a soft approach to health and that type of thing, right?
Right.
I'm wondering if, and maybe you've thought of this before, and I know you've got your business coaches that you're dealing with, but I'm wondering if the idea of being the manly man coming into the market and showing how it like literally, guys, I was up in the attic trying to fix my electrical or my plumbing. I fell through, the ceiling, and I'm landed on my ass, and then I used essential oils and it actually healed me. And look, I mean, you've got the scruffy beard, you're the manly man. I'm thinking if you came in it from that angle, showing other men how this can actually help them in their life, right? From a man's perspective. Because honestly, I feel like there is a disconnect between, unless you approach it the right way with your branding and your messaging, but for you to be going straight after women, I feel like that could be an uphill battle for you, just in the sense that you're not a woman. And I mean, people tend to relate with people that are like them. And so I'm just thinking from that angle, that might be a good angle for you. And is that something that you've considered and maybe brought up to your coaches?
Actually, Actually, Corey, I was in a Zoom call last night, and we were talking about this very exact same topic. And one of the other students was saying, would you consider marketing to men directly? And I actually attempted that in my previous business, Bold Aromatherapy. I made beard oil, but there wasn't enough time to really assess how successful I was because my business came to a very abrupt end because of my own personal problems. But
so let me, because I love first of all, Corey, that's just brilliant. Because I'm picturing the brawny man. You know what I mean? I'm picturing like
Sure.
there's this whole like kick down the door, like and he's right. There's a big gap in the market, and beard oil is making the transition, right? So it's like it's not as like I think Corey said it before you got on, and he said he's got a little bit of a limiting belief right here because you're a man who's into it. We're both. I don't know if they're right here, but I got aromatherapies. I mean, my diffuser's right there in the corner. You know what I mean? I got one in my room. And so like, and yeah, I like a conifer. It's a comfrey. No, not comfrey. It's cardamom, cypress, and like sandalwood. And it's like peaceful. And I love it. Right.
Sounds like it smells very good. Yeah.
But I don't see any, but doTERRA and all these others are very feminine and earthy and clean, and it's good. But like if you come in and be like, boom, like I'm the organic dude, like I'm a dude, but I'm also in touch with this, but it's a brilliant play that I don't see anywhere. So I just want to kind of acknowledge that's definitely an opening.
Yeah. And I don't say that to throw you off track. I don't say that to throw you off track, Jason, because I know that you've got a business plan and you've got a direction that you're going in, but it's just, to me, it seems like a very enticing idea. Let's put it that way.
And I want to just tie in real quick. So you had a beard oil that was selling, but some stuff happened and you had to shut it down, right?
Yeah, the bankruptcy, you stopped the business.
And it's not necessarily scalable, but it worked in the short term, right?
Yeah, I mean, I sold 4 bottles, but still, I mean, I got some good reviews on them, and so it was a great start.
And sometimes you go back to what worked and then you take that and you transition. If you can get dudes in on beard oil, those are bearded people are more likely to be groomers. You know what I mean? Like you have to take care of it. If they got a styling beard, they probably, they might groom it. So then groomers might like turn into things. So it's just looking at where can you serve people that people are coming in. And if you can attract men through beard oil, then you can market them. Hey, we have these different smelling beard oils. We have these. So this beard oil is going to help you with your allergies. I don't know because I don't know it to that detail. But sometimes I guess what I'm saying is sometimes you got to sell people what they want and give them what they need. And a lot of people are buying beard oils, but it's also a competitive market now.
Yeah, and in fact, you guys make some very good points. I'm glad you brought them up because I could definitely consider direct mail marketing. Sure, like I have done before. And I guess I do have some limiting beliefs and some assumptions that, no man would buy this. Well, I shouldn't stop there. I mean, with branding, you can accomplish some pretty amazing things with the proper branding and marketing tools. Forgot what I was about to say, but no, you guys make some very good points. Beard oil. I actually had a company reviewed my beard oil, a guy in Quebec, Canada. I'll have to send you guys the URL when I find that review because he had some great ideas. He said, this beard oil is different because Jason is an aromatherapist from Phoenix, Arizona. He's a different candidate because of his background in aromatherapy, which is a nice, clever marketing angle.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of companies making beard oil. There's a lot of companies that make beard oil, of course, but are they clinical aromatherapists? I don't think they are.
Right.
So
that's cool, man. I mean, that's some stuff to chew on, and again, I don't mean to try to add another brick or, step in the way, but just something to consider, I think, because listening to what you've been talking about in your background and like where you're coming from and how you're trying to help people, to me, that seems like a pretty good synchronicity happening there, And so anyway, but let's move on, man. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the things that you may or may not be struggling with right now. Like I know education is a big part of your game plan right now. You're putting out as much content as possible, right? So is there anything with that production stream do you see as a bottleneck? Is there anything, holding you up, or is everything flowing the way that you want it to right now?
I wouldn't say things are flowing, but I am pretty consistent, making about 1 post per day on Instagram and Facebook, just to be consistent.
Okay.
Getting some good feedback. I profile an oil a day. This is balsam fir. It's great for. And if I have a personal story behind it, I share that as well. So I'm getting some good interaction that way.
Awesome.
I remember doing some of your workshops where you taught a concept of shooting one single long form video and using that to create micro content that you could use year round. The thing is, I don't have a long form video. I do have a few short videos that I shot of some DIY techniques that I use myself that I could share with my audience. I have a few videos, but I guess the challenge is, coming up with a long-term content strategy. It's not the easiest thing in the world, I'm finding out.
Right, for sure. So there is that concept that I've taught in the past, which is that year of content idea, right? Where you basically, did you go through that challenge, Jason? I don't remember if you were in that group.
Year of content, I think I did. It sounds familiar.
Okay, so so the whole idea, right, is that you basically break things down into 4 values, right? What are some values behind your business that you hold and that you want your customers to hold as well? Because that, if you start from there, your content will naturally attract your perfect customers, right? And so if you start with those 4 values, then take one value, for instance. I mean, you've already talked about travel, adventure, health, combating misinformation. These are some of your values, right? So if we talked about travel, for instance, I mean, you're talking about going to, these Airbnbs, going to different cities and seeing different things, bringing the essential oils into that. Like, how can essential oil relate to travel, right? That would be one idea to start with a topic. And then you can break that down into micro topics. And again, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself as far as the year of content is concerned. But the idea is, if you start with the value, and then how does my product apply to that value, right? And then what are some sub-content ideas that we can talk about within that value? And then it gives you kind of themes for topic. If you want to go, this month we're going to talk about travel, next month we're going to talk about health, the next month we'll talk about something else, but it's all relating to essential oils and the products that you're pushing, or the information that you're pushing. That is a great way. And as far as coming up with a bunch of content, and then for long form content, to break, like right now we're doing long form content, right? This is an hour-long video, and then I will bring this into the editing room and chop it up, and we'll pull out a bunch of little clips of video content that we can use to promote this podcast episode in the future. So for you, if you could bring on somebody, interview them, right? Hey, how has essential oils helped you in your life? And you do a simple interview with them, let that go. I mean, you could turn it into a podcast if you'd like, or you can just use it as content that you're going to use later on down the line, right? It's a great way to start generating long form content that you can cut up. Another thing real quick, I just want to mention, and then we'll kind of probably have to wrap this up because we're getting close to time here, but are you familiar with webinars? You said you wanted to start doing webinars. Are you familiar with Russell Brunson's perfect webinar formula?
I've heard of the name Russell Brunson, but I don't think I've heard of the thing that you mentioned.
Okay, well, we have some information we'll definitely send over to you, because there's a pretty cool little formula that you can follow for creating a webinar script, if you will. And it basically breaks it down into 3 secrets, right? What are 3 things that you want to teach about your big main thing? And then you wrap it up with a call to action.
It's based on the webinar that he used to grow his company to $100 million in 5 years with no VC funding.
Yeah, it's definitely works.
He did this webinar at Grant Cardone's 10X and did $3 million in 90 minutes. So it works. He's the webinar, like, you got, yeah. So he's for
sure the webinar guy. But I bring that up to tell you that if you were to create a webinar script, right? And even if you don't run the webinar, if you just do this for yourself to create content, turn on video camera, go ahead and present the webinar to the camera. Now you've got an hour-long piece of content where you're teaching multiple different things, right? They're all relating. There's a through line because you've tied them together with this formula. And now you'll have, you'll have unlimited, 45-second, 60-second clips that you can throw onto Instagram, stuff you can put on Facebook, YouTube. And then everything can start to really funnel into that pressure that you're trying to build in your personal brand, so that when it comes time for you to launch your product, whatever it may be, people will be chomping at the bit waiting, because you're positioning yourself as the expert very tactfully. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So basically kind of what you're saying is a webinar could very well be a gateway.
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
So
and it doesn't have to be presented as a webinar. first, right? You don't have to go getting a bunch of people to show up live at a certain time to be able to deliver the information the first go around. I mean, just record it on your computer or go live on Facebook, download that video, and then start cutting it up, share those little pieces. And then you can actually use that to drive to a registration page in the future if you want to actually start giving that webinar as a live, educational piece. But you can do it first and cut it up. I'm sorry, go ahead, Nathan.
No, what I was going to say is, so the reason that people do webinars is because in long form sales letters from direct mail back in the day, the hardest thing to do is to take a cold prospect, turn them warm, hot, and buy.
Mm-hmm.
So a webinar, the perfect webinar that Russell presents is to take somebody through from they don't know who you are to, oh my God, I love you and I got to have what you have. Now, that is the marketing path. Whether you do it in an hour and a half at one time with somebody, or you do it over 5 emails, or you do it over the course of 3 months, dripped out into your social. It's the process of taking somebody who has no idea who you are, no idea who you are, and then to, oh my gosh, okay, I'm interested in what this person has to say. I'm interested. I know and I like and I trust this person. Oh my gosh, this person has the solution that I need to my problem. But what Corey's brilliantly telling you is you go through this webinar and then basically you have your whole marketing message and then you can break it out into pieces over and deliver it in any way that you want to. And that's brilliant.
Yeah, I never thought of that. That's very interesting. Russell Brunson webinar. I definitely researched.
We'll send you a link.
Yeah.
We'll send you a link. Yeah, we'll send you a link.
We have the PDF. I'll send you the PDF directly, man. And then you can take a look at that. And just, if you have any questions, by all means, reach out. We're happy to help you through that. But let's go ahead and wrap this up, Jason. I want to know, for everybody listening right now that's interested in the essential oils and interested in learning more about what you're teaching and sort of, the information that you're helping people learn, right? And just sort of what's the truth versus what's not the truth in the market. Where can they go to find you? Where can they go to check you out and see what you got going on?
Okay, easiest place to find me, Facebook, Jason Conifer. Just, they could friend me, they could send me a friend request, and they could also find my business page under the same name. It's nice and simple. Also, Instagram is where the heart of my activity is for the time being. So Instagram, Jason Conifer, it's all one word. Should be very easy to find, but start there. They should just start there and see what I'm doing on a daily basis. And I'm actually have a call with a web designer tomorrow to get my website, Jason Conifer, established. So
nice.
So hopefully within the next 2 or 3 weeks, JasonConifer.com will be live. So
excellent. Well, there you have it.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah, and I'll definitely link all of that stuff in the show notes for this particular episode. So Jason, thank you so much again, man, for coming on the show and for taking the time to do this with us. We really appreciate your time, brother.
This was a lot of fun. Thank you, Corey and Nathan. I really appreciate you guys.
Thank you, man.